Have you ever felt it? That quiet, persistent whisper deep inside, a feeling that there's more to you than what the world sees. Most people go through their entire lives with this feeling, a vast, untapped well of potential lying just beneath the surface. They wake up, they work, they struggle, and then they lie awake at night, wondering why things never seem to change, why the life they dream of remains forever out of reach. They chalk it up to a lack of luck, a shortage of talent, or some special advantage they were never given. They believe that greatness is something bestowed upon a chosen few. But here is the profound and liberating truth. Potential is not a gift. It is a project. It is not given. It is unlocked. The journey of your life is not defined by what you start with, but by what you consciously and courageously decide to build and develop. The stark difference between those who achieve extraordinary things and those who remain perpetually stuck is not their intelligence, their background, or the opportunities that fall into their laps. It is whether they take the deliberate, often difficult steps to awaken and activate the power that already resides within them. Think of your potential as a seed. It contains the blueprint for a magnificent, towering tree, complete with deep roots and sprawling branches. That seed is already inside you, a perfect package of possibility, waiting. But a seed, no matter how perfect, cannot grow if it's left on a stone floor. It will not flourish in a garden of neglect. It requires cultivation. It needs the rich soil of self-belief, the water of consistent effort, the sunlight of unwavering focus, and an environment cleared of the weeds of doubt and fear. And who is the gardener in this scenario? You are. The environment you live in is not your house or your city. It's the landscape of your mind. The thoughts you cultivate, the habits you build, the discipline you forge. These are the elements that determine whether your potential remains a dormant seed or bursts forth into vibrant, unstoppable life. You are not waiting for permission from the world. You are not waiting for a savior to ride in and unlock your future for you. The control, the responsibility, the choice, and the immense power to activate what lies within you have been in your hands all along. So many people stop just short of their breakthrough because they misunderstand the nature of growth. They set ambitious goals, their hearts filled with fire and excitement. But the moment the path becomes steep and the journey gets difficult, they retreat. They dream of a better life, but when that dream demands more effort than they anticipated, they hesitate. They convince themselves that they are prisoners of their circumstances, shackled by their past mistakes, or defined by the limiting labels others have placed upon them. But the only limits that can truly hold you back are the ones you accept. Every single limitation is, at its core, self-imposed. Every excuse is a choice to remain where you are. Every setback, viewed through the right lens, is not a verdict on your worth, but an invitation to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. If you want to finally unlock the hidden treasure within you, you must begin the courageous work of dismantling the barriers you have meticulously built in your own mind. No one is born at their peak performance. No one arrives on this earth fully formed and perfectly developed. Every master was once a beginner. Every hero started with fear. Everyone, without exception, begins with raw material. Yes, some may start with more apparent advantages than others, but every single person, including you, begins with a store of potential that must be shaped, tested, hammered, and refined in fires of experience. The critical question is not, do you have potential? The answer to that is always a resounding yes. The real question is, will you commit to the process of unlocking it? Will you take the necessary, daily steps to transform what is dormant inside you into something dynamic, powerful, and world-changing. These steps are not complex secrets known only to a few. They are simple truths, but they are demanding. They require relentless effort, unwavering consistency, and a profound willingness to push beyond the comfortable and the ordinary. Herein lies the great paradox. Most people want change, but they crave it without the discomfort that precedes it. They want progress, but they hope for it without the sacrifice it demands. They want success, but they wish for it without the struggle that earns it. And that, right there, is where they go wrong. Potential is not released in the calm waters of comfort. It is forged in the crucible of difficulty. It is not developed in the realm of ease. It is tested and proven in the face of adversity. It is built, brick by painstaking brick, through the mortar of discipline. If you are not willing to step into the fire, you will never feel the transformative heat of your own becoming. If you are not willing to endure the process, you will never unlock the power that waits inside. You possess every tool, every resource, every ounce of strength you need to create the life you truly want. But it all begins with a decision that you will no longer settle for less than your best. A decision to demand more from yourself than anyone else could ever expect. The vast majority of people live their lives on autopilot. They follow the same routines, accept the same circumstances, and let the currents of life carry them along. They are reactors, not creators, but those who unlock their potential choose a different path. They live with intention. They set a higher standard for themselves, not as a source of pressure, but as a declaration of their own worth. They refuse to accept anything less than their total effort, their total commitment, and their total focus. The very first step on this transformative journey is awareness. You cannot change a weakness you are not aware of. You cannot develop a strength you do not understand. So many people move through life fundamentally blind to their own capabilities. They tragically underestimate what they can achieve and grossly overestimate the power of their limitations. They tell themselves stories, "I'm not ready yet. I'm not qualified enough. I'm not that kind of person." They repeat these stories so often, with such conviction, that they become their reality. And as long as they believe these fictions, they will remain stuck, living a pale imitation of the life they could have. Awareness is the bedrock of all growth. You must learn to see yourself with unflinching clarity. You must understand your strengths so you can leverage them, and you must confront your weaknesses so you can improve them. You must know with certainty what is truly possible and what is required to make it happen. This isn't about harsh self-criticism. It's about radical self-honesty. It's about looking in the mirror and seeing the truth, not just the comfortable parts. It's about recognizing that where you are right now is simply a starting point, not a final destination. It is about embracing the profound understanding that every single day presents a fresh opportunity to change, to grow, and to expand the definition of what you are capable of. Most people shy away from this level of honesty because it is undeniably uncomfortable. They don't want to see their flaws. They don't want to admit their past mistakes. They don't want to accept the painful truth that, for a long time, they have been the primary obstacle in their own path. But real growth demands discomfort. Real progress requires you to courageously confront the parts of yourself that need development. If you remain unwilling to look at the truth of your own life, you will forever forfeit the power to change your future. Your potential is not some esoteric mystery hidden from view. It is simply buried. It lies under layers of practiced excuses, deep-seated fears, and ancient, limiting beliefs you inherited or created long ago. The only way to access it is to begin the archaeological dig. You must peel those layers away, one by one. You must put the stories you've been telling yourself on trial. You must challenge the beliefs that have kept you playing small. You must finally recognize that every time you said, "I can't," you were making a choice to protect yourself from effort, from risk, and from the very process that was designed to set you free. Think of it this way. Most people live in a prison of their own making. They construct walls around their hearts and minds to protect themselves from the pain of failure, from the sting of judgment, from the ache of disappointment. But those same walls that keep disappointment out also lock their true potential in. The only way to break free is to begin dismantling those walls, brick by brick. It means consciously stepping outside your comfort zone. It means deciding that you would rather risk failure in the pursuit of greatness than live a safe life of unfulfilled potential. The moment you take absolute, unconditional responsibility for your potential is the moment the entire universe shifts. In that instant, everything changes. No more blaming your circumstances. No more waiting for the perfect opportunity. No more wishing things were different. From that point forward, you operate from a place of power. You understand on a cellular level that your future is in your hands. Your growth is your duty. Your success will be the direct result of your choices, not a product of luck, talent, or external validation. Potential is exactly like a muscle. It only grows when it is consistently and progressively challenged. It only develops when it is pushed beyond its current limits. It only becomes truly powerful when it is worked, strained, and tested. And just like a muscle, if you never use it, it will atrophy. It will weaken, shrink, and become a shadow of what it was meant to be. The reason most people never build their potential is simply because they never push themselves. They habitually choose the easy path. They instinctively avoid discomfort. They settle for the familiar instead of reaching for the magnificent. Take a moment and think about your own life. How many times have you held back because you were afraid? Afraid of failing, of being rejected, of discovering you weren't good enough? How many times have you chosen the safety of the known over the terrifying promise of the unknown? How many times have you said, "Maybe tomorrow," or "someday," instead of demanding more from yourself right now, in this very moment? Every time you hesitate, you weaken the muscle of your potential. Every time you make an excuse, you throw another shovel of dirt on the treasure that could have grown. Every time you avoid a challenge, you reinforce the debilitating belief that you are not ready. The truth is, you are ready now. You are more capable than you know. You are more powerful than you have ever allowed yourself to realize. But you will never truly know the depths of your own strength until you push yourself beyond what feels comfortable. You will never know your true limits until you challenge the false ones you have accepted. You will never become the person you were meant to be until you decide that you will no longer be the person who holds back. People often wait for motivation to strike like a lightning bolt, thinking they need to feel inspired before they can take action. But motivation is a fickle and unreliable friend. It comes and goes with your moods and your energy levels. It is weak. Discipline, on the other hand, is the bedrock of achievement. Discipline is what transforms potential into tangible reality. Discipline is the force that compels you to act even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is the bridge that carries you across the chasm of discomfort. Discipline, more than any other quality, is what separates those who ultimately succeed from those who are left to wonder what might have been. You must build discipline just as you would a muscle. Through daily exercise, you must train yourself to act on your own command, to push through the seductive pull of hesitation, to show up for yourself, especially when no one is watching. Because the truth is, your potential does not care about your excuses. Your future does not care about your fears. Your success will not wait patiently for you to feel ready. It will only answer the call of those who are willing to step up, take relentless action, and demand more from themselves than anyone else ever could. Many people are deceived into thinking that success is a matter of sheer intelligence, innate talent, or a lucky roll of the dice. It is none of those things. At its core, success is about consistency. It's about the discipline of showing up every single day, especially on the days you don't want to. It's about doing the unglamorous, repetitive work that greatness requires. It's about cultivating the grit and tenacity to refuse to quit. The primary reason most people never unlock their potential is because they stop too soon. They'll work hard for a week or a month, but when the results don't come as quickly as they'd hoped, they slow down. They hesitate, doubt begins to creep in, and in that moment of hesitation, they lose the most powerful force in the universe, momentum. Momentum is everything. Once you have it, a kind of magic begins to happen. Obstacles seem smaller. Opportunities seem to find you. Progress accelerates, and your confidence builds into an unstoppable force. But if you allow hesitation to creep in, if you let doubt take root, you kill that precious momentum before it ever has a chance to build. The incredible potential within you is not a mystery. It is right there, waiting to be discovered, waiting to be unleashed. But it requires a decision from you, a conscious, unwavering commitment to step into a life that demands more of you. Every person you admire, every success story that has ever inspired you, every great achievement in human history, none of it happened by accident. It happened because someone, somewhere, made a decision. They decided to unlock their potential. They didn't wait for the circumstances to be perfect. They didn't let fear paralyze them. They didn't waste a single moment making excuses. They took action. And that action, compounded over time, created a new reality. You have that exact same power. But wielding it requires clarity of purpose, the discipline to execute, and an unwavering commitment to do what is necessary for as long as it takes. Unlocking your potential is not about waiting for a sudden burst of inspiration. It is not about hoping that one day you will magically feel ready. It is about taking charge today. It is about demanding more from yourself today. It is about pushing past the self-imposed limits you have accepted for far too long. Every moment you spend lost in hesitation, mired in doubt, or paralyzed by fear is a moment stolen from the greatness that is already your birthright. And that greatness is not something you have to earn. It is something you simply have to claim. The path to unlocking your hidden potential is not complicated, but it is demanding. It requires you to fundamentally change the way you think, act, and move through the world. It requires you to take full, radical ownership of your results. It requires you to stop waiting and start working. It requires you to push past the seductive comfort of your old habits and step into the disciplined fire of a new, higher standard. And that standard is not set by the world around you. It is set by you, for you. Every excuse you make, every moment you waste, every hesitation you allow is a brick in the wall that separates you from the life you were meant to live. But every decisive action, every moment of disciplined effort, every step you take toward growth is a key that unlocks another door. revealing another level of your potential. And once you start, once you build that sacred momentum, once you get a taste of what you are truly capable of, there will be no stopping you. This isn't about talent. This isn't about luck. This is about relentless, uncompromising, disciplined action. This is about deciding that your future is worth fighting for. This is about understanding, once and for all, that the only thing standing between you and your greatest self is your willingness to do what most people are simply not willing to do. And that willingness, that is the foundation upon which your new life will be built. Winners in life understand a fundamental truth that most people never grasp. Feelings are not facts. Your emotions are merely suggestions, fleeting weather patterns passing through the sky of your consciousness. They are not directives. Just because you feel tired does not mean you are required to stop. Just because you feel discouraged does not mean you are destined to quit. Just because you feel as though you're not making progress does not mean you are not moving forward. The majority of people live in emotional quicks, and they allow their feelings to dictate their actions, becoming slaves to every wave of doubt, fear, or lethargy. Those who achieve greatness, however, learn to reverse this equation. They dictate their emotions with their actions. They act first, with intention and discipline, and they find that the right feelings inevitably follow. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear, but acting in spite of it. They know that motivation is not a prerequisite for action, but a byproduct of it. Every single time you feel the heavy pull to give up, your task is to take one more step. Every time you feel overwhelmed by the chaos, your job is to make one more focused decision. Every time your mind screams that you can't go on, your soul must command you to keep going anyway. This is not about punishment. This is how you build indestructible mental strength. This is how you forge a will of iron. Every single person walking this earth, including you, has a reservoir of hidden potential waiting to be released. Its existence is not a matter of luck, lineage, or background. It is purely a matter of discipline, focus, and a relentless, uncompromising commitment to your own growth. You do not have to be born extraordinary to become extraordinary. You do not have to start with special advantages to achieve remarkable success. All you need is the right mindset, the right habits, and the fierce willingness to push far beyond the comfortable limits that most people accept as their reality. Inside of you, right now, is the power to accomplish more than you have ever dared to imagine. The key to unlocking this power is not found in waiting for the perfect moment, for the stars to align, or for conditions to be just right. Those are the excuses of the timid. The key is in taking immediate, decisive action. It is in deciding, right now, that you will begin the sacred work of developing your potential, regardless of your current circumstances. This is the moment your new life begins. Let us be clear. Unlocking your hidden potential is not a mystery. It is a process. It is a series of deliberate, conscious steps that, when taken with consistency, will systematically reveal the power that has always been there, waiting for your command. The first step, cultivating radical self-awareness. You cannot work on what you do not know. The journey inward is the first step forward. Most people drift through life in a mental fog, going through their days on autopilot without ever stopping to reflect on their choices, their habits, or their true capacity. They become experts in deflecting responsibility. They blame their circumstances, their past, their boss, or the economy. They construct elaborate narratives and excuses for why they are not where they wish to be. But the instant you decide to take full, unconditional responsibility for your life, for your results, for your choices, for your happiness, is the moment you seize the pen and begin to write your own story. That is the moment you reclaim your power. Self-awareness is not about beating yourself up for your flaws or dwelling on past mistakes. It is about looking in the mirror and having the courage to see the unvarnished truth. It is about recognizing your strengths so you can amplify them and identifying your weaknesses so you can address them, all without delusion or judgment. Once you see yourself with this level of clarity, you can finally begin to make the strategic changes necessary to unlock your next level of performance. Most people actively avoid this kind of honest self-assessment. They prefer to focus their energy on what is outside of them, their external circumstances, the people around them, the countless reasons why life is unfair. It is easier to be a victim than a warrior. But the ultimate key to unlocking your potential is the profound realization that everything you truly need to change is already within your control. Your habits, your mindset, your discipline, and your willingness to follow through on your commitments. Once you accept that, once you commit to seeing yourself and your situation without the filter of excuses, you place yourself in the ultimate position to grow. Because growth is never accidental, it does not happen by luck. It happens when you start making decisions based on reality, not on what you wish were true. The second step, forging clear and compelling goals without a target, you will drift aimlessly. Most people wander through life with a vague hope that things will somehow work out for the best. But hope is not a strategy. It is a passive wish, not an active pursuit. It is not enough to simply desire a better future. You must define it with absolute precision. You must be crystal clear about what you want to achieve and, more importantly, why it matters to you on the deepest level. The primary reason most people fail is because their goals are weak and nebulous. They say they want success. But what does that actually look like? What does it feel like? How will you measure it? They say they want more money. But how much, by when, and for what purpose? They say they want to be better. But better in what specific way? If you cannot articulate your goals with razor-sharp precision, you will never build the focused momentum necessary to achieve them. Your goals must be measurable. They must have a deadline. They must be so clear and vivid that there is no room for confusion or misinterpretation. When your goals are precise, your actions become focused. And when your actions are focused, progress becomes inevitable. Furthermore, most people sabotage themselves by setting goals that are too small and too comfortable. They set goals that require no real effort, no meaningful sacrifice, and therefore, no significant growth. But true growth, the kind that unlocks your potential, comes from setting goals that stretch you, that challenge you, that force you to become someone greater than you are today. When your goals are truly compelling, they create a powerful gravitational pull. They pull you forward through moments of doubt and fatigue. They create a sense of urgency that makes procrastination impossible. They ignite your passion and make it impossible to remain the same. Every time you set a goal that requires you to step far outside of your comfort zone, you are fundamentally retraining your mind. You are teaching it that you are capable of more. And every time you achieve a goal that once seemed impossible, you are providing undeniable proof to yourself that your limits were never as fixed as you once believed. The third step, building unshakable discipline without discipline, potential remains a dormant fantasy. It is the tragic story of human endeavor. Most people have brilliant ideas, noble intentions, and even wealth, thought-out plans. But they lack the one ingredient that turns vision into reality: daily, unwavering discipline, They start with a burst of enthusiasm, but they do not follow through. They set ambitious goals, but they fail to execute. The reason for this is simple and universal. They let their emotions dictate their actions. They wake up one day feeling motivated and ready to conquer the world, but the next day, they simply don't feel like it. They allow minor distractions to derail their focus. They let small, insignificant tasks break their momentum. And as a result, they drift further and further away from the life they claim to want. Discipline is the engine that transforms potential into performance. It is the defining quality that separates those who merely talk about success from those who actually achieve it. Discipline is not about being harsh or robotic. It is about making a sacred commitment to consistency. It is about deciding in advance that you will do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Most people fail because they place their faith in motivation. But motivation is a fair weather friend. It is unreliable and fleeting. Some days you will be inspired, but many more days you will not. If you only act when you feel like it, you will never build the momentum required for greatness. Discipline is what empowers you to take action, even when your emotions are screaming at you to quit. It is the inner force that allows you to push through resistance and keep going when it would be infinitely easier to stop. Every single time you choose discipline over distraction, you are unlocking another layer of your potential. You are proving to yourself that you are stronger than your excuses. And every time you follow through, you are reinforcing the powerful belief that you are, in fact, capable of greatness. Discipline is built through the accumulation of small, daily choices. It is not a trait you are born with. It is a skill you develop through conscious repetition. Think of it as building trust with yourself. Every time you set a task and complete it, no matter how small, you are training your mind to trust you. Every time you break a commitment to yourself, you weaken that trust. And the more you weaken it, the harder it becomes to follow through on anything significant. Most people go through life making and breaking 1,000 small promises to themselves. They say they will wake up early, but they hit the snooze button. They say they will exercise, but they find an excuse to skip it. They say they will work on their goals, but they get lost in mindless scrolling. Every time they do this, they send a powerful message to their subconscious mind. My word does not matter. I cannot be trusted. But when you begin to honor those small commitments, when you start to follow through on even the most mundane tasks, you begin a profound transformation. You are building unshakable discipline. You are training your mind to believe in you. And once you have that kind of deep internal trust, there is absolutely nothing that can stop you. The fourth step, cultivating relentless perseverance potential, is utterly meaningless without the ability to keep going when things get difficult. The landscape of failure is littered with the dreams of people who gave up too soon. They start their journey with passion and enthusiasm, but the moment they encounter their first significant obstacle, they retreat. They misinterpret struggle as a sign that they are on the wrong path. But the truth is, every worthwhile goal will require you to navigate challenges. Every great achievement in history was born of adversity. Every new level of success demands that you push through discomfort. The people who unlock their true potential are simply the ones who refuse to quit, no matter how tough it gets. Perseverance is a choice. It is not an innate quality you are born with. It is a spiritual muscle you develop through experience. Every time you make the conscious decision to keep going when the easier choice is to stop, you are strengthening your ability to endure. Most people are conditioned to avoid pain. They see struggle as a negative signal, a sign that they should turn back to the safety of the familiar. But winners understand a deeper truth. Struggle is an integral part of the process. They don't just tolerate it, they embrace it. They know that every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every failure is a masterclass in disguise. Every moment of difficulty is a precious opportunity to prove to themselves that they are capable of more. Every time you persist in the face of adversity, you are unlocking another layer of your potential. You are conditioning yourself to handle bigger and bigger challenges. You are proving, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you are not easily defeated. This kind of mental toughness is the ultimate separator between those who succeed and those who give up. Most people drastically underestimate the power of sheer perseverance. They assume success comes from a lightning strike of talent, a flash of genius, or a lucky break. But those are just contributing factors. The real, defining difference between those who win and those who lose is the stubborn ability to keep going when things get hard. Winners do not stop when they are tired, they stop when they are done. They do not quit when they fail. They learn from the failure, recalibrate, and come back stronger. They do not let temporary setbacks define their identity. They let their persistence shape their destiny. And every time you make the decision to push forward, even when you are exhausted, even when you are frustrated, even when it feels like the entire world is against you, you are proving to yourself that your potential is, for all practical purposes, limitless. The fifth step, building a powerful network of support. Finally, your potential is profoundly influenced by the people you allow into your life. Most people underestimate the immense impact of their environment. They foolishly believe they can rise above negative influences through sheer willpower. But the truth is, you become the average of the people you spend the most time with. If you surround yourself with those who are constantly complaining, making excuses, and settling for mediocrity, their apathy will inevitably drain your ambition and limit your growth. It is like trying to swim upstream in a river of negativity. But if you consciously place yourself in an environment of high standards where people are driven, focused, and committed to their own growth, you will find yourself elevating naturally. You will raise your own standards without even trying. You will push harder, think bigger, and hold yourself to a higher level of accountability, simply because you are surrounded by people who expect more from themselves and from you. Accountability isn't about pressure, it's about presence. It's about knowing that someone is watching, not to criticize, but to lovingly remind you of the person you said you wanted to become. It's about being surrounded by voices that will not let you quit on yourself. Because let's be honest, some days you will forget your own power. Some days you will doubt your ability. And on those days, more than any other, you need people in your corner who will look you in the eyes and say, "You have more in you. Keep going." Most people never unlock their potential because they try to do it all alone. They believe asking for support is a sign of weakness. They think needing a push is something to be ashamed of. But the strongest people on the planet are the ones who seek alignment. They are the ones who understand that they don't have to carry the full weight of their dreams alone. They strategically build a circle that reflects the level they are committed to reaching. So, build that circle. Find mentors who have already achieved what you want to achieve. Build peer accountability with others who are on a similar path. Seek out people who live with integrity, who speak the truth even when it's hard, and who walk their talk. When you align your environment with your vision, you make it almost impossible not to grow. Your potential is not unlocked through wishful thinking. It is unlocked through a deliberate process of self-awareness, clear goals, unshakable discipline, relentless perseverance, and the powerful support of a chosen few. The choice, as always, is yours. The time is now.